Hey, Pat again. I've been making a string of videos lately, and I wasn't going to make one for another week or so, but I just watched the video, and well, it was a powerful video, and I felt very compelled to respond, so I'm going to do that. The video is by a woman by the name of Elana. I'll post the link. It's called Today on the Bus. I would suggest that you watch her video first and then come back to me so I can comment on it. Well, the first thing I want to say is that this is the first video I've watched from elana, and going just by this video, I'm very impressed with her. I think what a decent person to make some of the statements that she's made. But I think she's wrong about a couple of things, and I'm going to elaborate on that. Now, she's talking about a situation where she was on the bus, and she didn't say it, but I gather it was a black couple with a little 3-year-old daughter, which is probably irrelevant anyway, but the 3-year-old daughter was singing along, and she attracted the attention of a white gentleman who was taken by her her cute demeanour and the way she was singing the song, and he she said he waved to her, or he smiled at her or something like that, and straight away the mother of the child was waving him off. In other words, don't talk to my daughter. And elana was moved to, eventually, as it progressed, a couple of times the mother protested at this gentleman. elana was moved to intervene and say that he's just taken by her cuteness, which is a natural response, and he's just smiling at her. And boy, I would totally agree with that. I feel the same way. But I'm going to tell you a little story that happened to me a couple of probably maybe 2 years ago. My family and I, my two of my daughters, my the then 14-year-old and my then 6-year-old daughter, just come back from Adelaide on the plane, and we got off the plane, we caught the train home to the Gold Coast where we live. And while we were on the train, while the train was between stations, this portly, balding gentleman came from one carriage into our carriage, and he looked pretty slovenly and unkept, and he waddled down past me, and there was an Indian gentleman, dark Indian gentleman, sitting a couple of seats down from me, and he was asleep. And he had his little boy with him who was about 3 or 4, maybe 4, and who was also asleep. And this big portly gentleman waddled down and sat right next to the little boy, and he was sitting next to the little boy and next to me on the other side. And funnily enough, across from him was a police officer, an off-duty police officer, who was also asleep. And so I could see the reflection of this guy in the window across from me, and I could see that he was very unsettled. He was twiddling his fingers, and he kept on glancing down out the corner of his eye at the little boy who was asleep. And I saw him sort of starting to lean a little bit closer, as if he was going to try and make contact with the little boy. And my hackles went up. I could see it wasn't right, because why did he move mid station while the train's in motion? Why did he come from one carriage to another and then sit next to that little boy? So my hackles were up straight away, and I felt like waking up the police officer. But anyway, I just kept on observing him, and then he could see me in the reflection of the mirror too. So I just kept looking straight at him, and he got more. I could see he was getting more and more uncomfortable and flustered, and finally, before the train again had come to the next station, while it was still moving, he got up and he walked back into the carriage that he came from. And there are a lot of sick, weirdo people out there, and that's for sure. And for all you know, that mother may have already had an experience like that. That child may have been affected by some form of child abuse. So you really need to show some restraint in passing judgment on that woman. And although, as I say, I totally agree with your assessment of the gentleman probably being an innocent response to what was a very cute and lovely little girl. But anyway, look, having said all that, very impressed with your video, and it's nice to meet you.